delightful, charming, sumptuous, piquant, yummy. These are words you would normally use to describe a particularly juicy apple, or perhaps melon. But today, we're using them to introduce the world's best and most scrumptious video game music podcast, Bit Harmony.
You're listening to Bit Harmony, a video game music podcast, and I am Matt.
And I am Seth.
Today, we are talking about just a bunch of remixes. I think that might be exactly how I opened the last Oops All Remixes episode over a year ago. We're talking about not a specific game of any kind in this episode. After all this summer of Nintendo hoopla and work, it just I just wanted an easy episode.
It's like time for a layup, baby. It's time for a layup.
A more goof-offy vibe, and I don't have to research a bunch of stuff. And I never talk about it that much on the show itself, but like I spent like 3 hours researching stuff about Chibi Robo. That 3 hours is actually pretty good. Like in the grand scheme of things, I've researched way more than that before, but still. That is 3 hours just to research Chibi Robo for a podcast.
There's some work that goes into this stuff behind the scenes. You're scrolling down, you're going down internet rabbit holes and finding interviews and stuff.
And like that is one of the most fun parts about doing this. But yeah, it's also like I saw someone saying like it was a a meme format of like, give a fact about your profession that other people that aren't in your profession don't understand. And it was a podcaster saying that like, yeah, doing podcasts is basically just giving book reports. And like that literally, it really is just kind of that. But yeah, in the case of Bit Harmony, we get to have a little fun. We get to have some, just goof off time here and there. And today is just an all goof off time, I guess.
The ties are fully loosened today, baby.
The pants are fully off, not just partially
off. Now, baby.
For our intro this episode, we've got a Pelican Town rearrangement. Pelican Town originally being from Stardew Valley, and this is from Infinity Nikki. This is kind of tying in like a whole bunch of Bit Harmony stuff in one thing. We've covered Stardew Valley on its own episode over a year ago, and we have covered Infinity Nikki quite extensively, actually, on last year's Best of 2024 music episode. And we're bringing it back, and I'm going to let you listen to the song, and then I will explain, if you're not aware, why Stardew Valley music is in Infinity Nikki. Before that, though, Infinity Nikki was composed by FoldEcho, which is Infold Games' in-house production team. Longtime listeners might remember we really struggled trying to give any kind of credit to Infinity Nikki soundtrack in that end-of-year episode, and they are now giving the credit themselves on Twitter as just FoldEcho, which, okay,
wow.
we'll go with that in this case.
It's something, yeah.
It's something, yeah. I don't have to go searching on like random people's LinkedIns to maybe get the right information. But again, this is the Pelican Town arrangement from Infinity Nikki, and we'll be back. and that was the Pelican Town Infinity Nikki remix, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Infinity Nikki now has Stardew Valley arrangements in it, which is one of the craziest crossovers of all time. Mostly because like Stardew Valley doesn't cross over that often, you know, like
Right.
there's Stardew Valley cards in Balatro, but it's just there's not Joker cards, it's just decorative cards, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Pierre's the king or something, maybe the jack, I don't remember. Yeah, Infinity Nikki did like a crossover with Stardew Valley. It's not as much as I was kind of hoping it would be when they revealed the teaser trailer like a month ago, but most relevant to our discussion here, there are 4 Stardew Valley remixes in Infinity Nikki now. They have the Pelican Town theme. They've got like a title screen of Stardew remix, and they've got one summer and one winter remix in there, and they're all very high quality, as you would expect from Infinity Nikki.
That's cool. This is actually listening to this was the first time I heard this particular song. Because really all I had known up until this point was just that like trailer that they released for it with
Mm-hmm.
like the Junimos like coming into the world of Infinity Nikki or whatever, and at the very end they play like a little bit of music, and that was really all I had heard up until this point. So this was cool. I am so curious like how this came about, like whose idea it was, how this bridge was formed.
I would love to know. I think I would actually like pay money to someone to tell me like how this happened.
Yeah,
Like Concerned Ape very famously, like he was asked about it and he didn't give like a specific answer to that degree of like who even initiated this, but all he said was that he only collaborates with games that either he is a fan of or that he thinks the fans of Stardew Valley would also enjoy this collaboration. So, if Concerned Ape has an Infinity Nikki account, I would love to know. I'd love to see what he's up to in
that
there.
would be so sick. Yeah.
The reason the Stardew Valley stuff was added when it was is because this was added in this big update that added like you can make your own house, like you could decorate this whole floating island and build your own house and stuff, which that obviously fits to the Stardew Valley vibe and whatnot. I would love to see Concerned Apes Infinity Nikki house in the game. I think that would be very cute. I mean, yeah, when it comes to the actual song, I mean, it's the Pelican Town theme. I don't have that much to say about it. Uh, I do think this is probably the most iconic Stardew song, but only because like it's probably the one you hear the most because you're
Mm,
constantly going to Pelican Town. Yeah, in terms of like specific song notes, I really like when the strings really start coming in around 1 minute
yeah.
in. It feels like it's like the perfect blend of Infinity Nikki like whimsy and then with like the I don't know the country Stardew Valley vibes, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Infinity Nikki kind of has like, especially with that string, like the string stuff coming in and like kind of joining the acoustic guitar melody, like it kind of adds this like, I don't know, rolling hill countryside like kind of vibe to it. They've somehow managed to make this song like even cozier. There's like
Mm-hmm.
woodblock stuff in there. But the thing that actually was really striking to me about this was the tone of like some of the synths. It kind of reminds me specifically, and here's your obligatory analgesic mention in the episode. It kind of reminds me of the tone of the synths in like Center City C Note from Anodyne 2. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was making me think of that, like just the way that those sounded in this song, in a way that delighted me. Yeah, it's just like a somehow cozier rendition of Pelican Town.
Yeah, which is funny because yeah, Pelican Town is super cozy as is. I also just want to note that in general, not just in this song, but in general, Infinity Nikki's acoustic guitar work just continues to pop the hell off. Like
Yeah.
we've had nearly a year's worth of updates to Infinity Nikki. Like every month there's a major new update and there's always new music in it. And it's always like for me, it's someone that doesn't even play it but just watches my wife play. The new music is always the highlight. So then to come into this season being like, oh, there's gonna be Stardew rearrangements in here. It was
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited when they revealed this.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It's a cool collab. I'm glad they did it. And Yeah, it's rare. Like we don't, we don't get that sort of thing every day. I hope they I don't know. It'd be nice if they did more music, but if nothing else, I hope they like put this stuff together and release it on like streaming services or whatever, because you had to like rip it yourself, I think.
Yeah, that's why you'll hear bird noises and stuff in this version of the song, because I had to just let it sit on my wife's island for a couple minutes to rip it. They do eventually upload like every season's music, I think, to like YouTube and I think Spotify.
Okay.
I don't think they've uploaded any of the Stardew songs, and they've even uploaded the rest of the 1.9 music, so maybe they just won't in this case. I genuinely don't know. But yeah, I did have to rip this myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh well. At least we got to represent it a little bit in here.
And yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize until a couple weeks ago, but Stardew Valley is actually our most listened to episode. For a long time, it was the early 2000s episode, but now it's the Stardew Valley episode. So I just thought it would be fun to, I don't know, open the episode up with a revisit of Stardew Valley and Infinity Nikki. Also, yeah, you've got the Stardew Valley concert in just a couple days at this point.
Yeah, I'm going on Saturday to the performance in Dallas, Texas. I'm going with my wife and some friends. That'll be really fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get to go to the first like Festival of Seasons or whatever it was called. I didn't get to go to that, so I'm excited to go to this one. Did y'all wind up? Are y'all going to the one in Germany?
Yeah, there's a few in Germany, I think, and yeah, we're going to the one in Hamburg, but that's not till January, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you got some time. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We, I'm kind of dreading like seeing what kind of merch they have there because I already know that my wife is gonna want to buy some. So I'm kind of coming in prepared to spend more money that I'm wanting to. But yeah, it's gonna be nice just to see the music performed live and stuff. It's gonna be cool. So
yeah. It is going to be cool. Also, at the last, or not the last one, but within the last like 2 weeks, Concerned Ape was at a show and just casually revealed on stage that he's working on a 1.7 update for Stardew Valley, which is also just very funny because the whole reason we did the Stardew Valley episode last year was to try and use the Bit Harmony Dark Magic to summon the 1.6 update for consoles back then. So now we're going to have to revisit the Stardew Valley soundtrack sometime next year to summon the 1.7 update.
We'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll find a way. Was there anything else you wanted to add about the Pelican Town rearrangement?
No, I think we pretty much hit it. Just cool. Just, cool that they did this. And it was nice. Like, it was nice to actually sit down and listen to it for the first time. I'd like to hear the rest of them. I haven't heard. This is the only like full song I've heard.
Yeah, because I'm the only one ripping them. I just haven't ripped the other three of them. I'll say I think the winter theme is my favorite, my second favorite out of the four they did. But yeah, they're all very fun. There's some good steel drums in the summer song and stuff. It's okay. Like I said, Infinity Nikki does a great job with all their music, and the Stardew Valley rearrangements were no exception. What do we got for general housekeeping then?
Well, we don't have any new reviews, which, shame on you, listener, for, I mean, come on, you gotta leave us some reviews. It's free. It's so easy. 5-star review. Come on, guys.
This is why your
numbers up.
Yeah, this is why you're getting a half-hearted remix episode. You're not, the new full episodes are reserved for people that review us.
Yeah, that's right. You only get a treat when you give us a review. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. Okay? No, it's super easy. Leave us a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. Really does help the show out a lot. It helps us, kind of climb the ranks, get recommended to people, helps us become a more widely recognized yokai podcast. We really appreciate y'all doing that. I do want to shout out a couple of things. I mean, first of all, I try to keep in mind that this could potentially be somebody's first episode of the show, maybe, which,
maybe.
Yeah, who knows? But we did just recently wrap up the Summer of Nintendo, where we did a bunch of episodes themed around Nintendo games specifically. But kind of the thing I really wanted to highlight is the fact that we did a bunch of Patreon exclusive mini episodes that are only available on Patreon at the $5 and higher tier. You can do a 7-day free trial and have access to all of them. We covered Wario Land 4, Elebits, Kickle Cubicle, Mario Party, and the Kirby Star-Crossed World DLC, all in exclusive Patreon mini episodes. So hit the links in the show notes. Check us out on Patreon. I think you will. I think you will find it's worth the paltry sum to support us, and we really do appreciate the support on Patreon. And speaking of Patreon, Matt, there is a comment to shout out from Patreon from Wilk, who left a comment on the DK Bonanza episode. Since we last met here on the show, Wilk says, "Y'all are always dancing so close, furry stuff. Love to seeing you tiptoeing around what gets you going."
I don't really have a response to that.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I have a response either.
That was like a month ago. That might as well have been a year ago at this point for me. Like, what? We probably talked about Donkey Kong's ass in the Kong Bonanza form, and then the stupid sexy zebra form. Right? I'm guessing that was the main. That was Wilk's main points of contention.
Here's my struggle with coming up with a proper response to this is I feel like if I'm too defensive, like that is a little revealing, right? Like if I'm asking for receipts, like show me how furry I was, you know, like I can't, like I feel like I should not evoke that, especially out of Wilk, because that is one of the more dedicated to the bit people that I know, and I feel like he would spend a lot of time producing receipts if I asked for them. So I'm not gonna do that. But with that being said, I stand by every bit of whatever we had to say about Donkey Kong's juicy ass in that episode. So
I can appreciate the Kong Bonanza form, okay? It doesn't need to be, there doesn't need to be anything attached to it. That's just what it is.
I'm just an appreciator of you know, a good body when I see one, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's like marble statues, you know? Like, we don't need to sexualize this. It's fine.
It's like, do you remember when there was that meme format going around of the lead singer of Maroon 5 who was sending like really cringy DMs, and it was like, that body of yours is ridiculous or whatever. We should do that, but like with Donkey Kong. Anyway, thanks for the comment, Wilk, on Patreon. We also have a comment from Newt Newt, who I was delighted to see does still listen to the show, apparently, because Newt Newt commented on the Chibi Robo episode, which, if you'll remember, was the episode that was suggested by Newt Newt in the first place, and Newt Newt simply comments, "Yes," with many S's and exclamation marks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he requested, I shouldn't say he, Newt Newt requested it. I think it was on the Cave Story episode comments, because I think Parker had requested Cave Story previously, and then we committed to Newt Newt that we would do Chibi Robo at some point, and then God just opened all the doorways we needed and put Chibi Robo on the GameCube NSO app right in time for us to do it during the Summer of Nintendo.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I wanted to shout out, I think we said it on the Chibi Robo episode, but yeah, thank you for recommending it, Newt Newt, because even though I was always interested in playing Chibi Robo, I wouldn't have gotten around to it anytime soon, probably. So having someone request it and play it for a podcast was like the perfect excuse to force me to sit down with it. And yeah, it's one of my favorite games of that era now, like full stop.
Yeah, it was awesome. And that was definitely, I mean, you know, I don't know if we wanted to do like a Summer of Nintendo recap, but out of all of the Summer of Nintendo episodes we did, and I like them all for different reasons, but the Chibi Robo one was definitely my favorite to record.
I think so. I you know, you and I weren't even on, like, we didn't do a main episode together for like a month there because of guests coming in, but it felt very appropriate to have that be the last like full episode of the Summer of Nintendo. Originally, it was meant to be Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I don't know, Chibi Robo just felt right. I don't know
Yeah.
to end with that. And the main thing I'll say about Summer of Nintendo in general was it kind of just came about. It's just like a whatever. It just becomes easier to select what episodes to do if we just give ourselves a theme kind of thing. Like that's the only reason it came about. But yeah, I think it ended up really good. I think the whole thing ended up working really well. And we've talked about it before, but I'm genuinely proud of all the minis we did. I think I said this previously too, but the minis almost end up being more like what I originally envisioned the show being. You know, like it's basically what we have, but just like removed of all the fat and grease and stuff. And it turns out still a pretty good show, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually kind of validating, right? Because if you even just take out the kind of like, you know, for one thing, I like that the show has that the main show anyway has that fat, because I think it makes it feel more like a casual talk show, and you know, the actual lack of focus is kind of part of the appeal, at least for me. Because I feel like it's the kind of thing that you would just hear on like the radio or whatever, which I really appreciate about it. But then yeah, the minis are so much more like focused without losing too much of the identity that like you and I bring to it, or our chemistry or whatever is still present, just in a more bite-sized and focused form. So yeah, it's kind of validating to see that like the stuff still works, and that like the, you know, I think that all the stuff that we chose to cover were like perfect for that format. And yeah, no, I'm really proud of it. Go us.
Yeah, and like perfect for the format in different ways. Like I think we got some really interesting conversation out of like Wario Land 4 in a way that was different from the conversation we got out of like Kickle Cubicle and stuff like that. That was, I don't know, it just really shocked me how well each of the games actually did end up working for a mini episode, to the point where I was like, oh yeah, Elebits probably was worthy of a full episode of the show, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, the soundtrack alone was definitely worthy of a full episode, but even just like the quality of the music that we covered throughout the entire Summer of Nintendo, it really was like banger after banger. So I mean, like I'm really happy with like all the music we've ever covered on the show, but this was just such a condensed, like, you know, like little period there of just great music, like full stop. So,
and yeah, as a reminder, with the minis, we have basically been a weekly show for the past like nearly 3 months. So yeah, if you've ever asked for that, where are you now?
Yeah,
we did it.
Come out of hiding. We did it. Show yourselves.
And yeah, we aren't doing a mini next week or anything. We are going back a little bit to our normal schedule, but we're going to do a couple more minis. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But speaking of just gratuitous, like greasy fat extra stuff in Bit Harmony, we have the Sean Capri presents the State of the Nintendo Music Address. I don't know why I always go out of my way to insult the segment that much, because I actually do enjoy doing this. It's just it just has become like this weird antagonistic relationship I have with my own invented segment. I should always, I've never actually brought this up before. This is the segment of the show where we talk about the last 2 weeks worth of things Nintendo has added to the Nintendo Music app. If that's not clear why we're doing it.
That's true. Yeah, I guess we don't ever really say that. We just kind of let people figure that out, huh?
Yeah, if you've ever wondered why we're just randomly talking about Pilot Wings for some reason.
Yeah, that's fair. Good call. We should put a note of that somewhere maybe. But yeah. That's true. That's what we're doing here. And we give them letter grades. We give these 2-week drops letter grades at the end. So there you go.
It's just a goofy little fun segment where we're a video game music podcast. It feels like we should be obligated to talk about an app run by Nintendo where they're uploading Nintendo music to it, right? It just makes sense.
Right.
In the past 2 weeks, we've gotten Golden Sun, The Lost Age, and Super Mario Galaxy 2. So let's start with Golden Sun, The Lost Age. We talked about Golden Sun a couple months ago whenever they added that to the app. This was composed by Motoi Sakuraba, who also composed stuff like the Camelot developed Mario Golf and tennis games, and then, as I found out on the Golden Sun segment, Dark Souls, which really surprised me at the time.
Yeah.
There's not too much I can say here that we didn't really talk about when we talked about Golden Sun a few months ago, but like, you are the Golden Sun head among us. I've only played the first one. I never got around to the second one. Like, what are your memories of like the second soundtrack compared to the first? Like, what I've listened to, it sounds like it's just more Golden Sun music, which isn't a bad thing, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, head is perhaps too strong of a word. I do like Golden Sun. I have a lot of fondness for Golden Sun. Like when I was like when those games were new and I was like a teenager, I was obsessed with them. But it wasn't like it hasn't been like a cornerstone of my identity or anything like really since. And to be honest, the soundtrack of Golden Sun for me is good, but it's not like an all-timer or anything like that. It's not even my favorite of Sakuraba's work or anything. And yeah, like for me, Golden Sun: The Lost Age is kind of like the darker older brother kind of thing, and so some of the music is representative of that, but by and large, yeah, it kind of just sounds like Golden Sun stuff. To be honest, I forgot that this wasn't on here already. I kind of like, for some reason I thought that they added them both at the same time, but I guess not. And so it was kind of like, oh right, like this was a thing. And then of course, right before the last Nintendo Direct was when this dropped, so I saw a lot of people being, does this mean we're getting something Golden Sun at the Direct?
I'm so tired of this, man. Where were all of you when they actually did add the Golden Sun games to the Game Boy Advance app? I didn't see anything. There was no like reevaluation going on. I didn't see a single social media post from anyone talking about Golden Sun or the Lost Age when those were added, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to hear it again. I'm the only one, I think, in the world that plays the NSO apps. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, dude. Like I honestly like the even me, like, and I like the NSO stuff, but there's only been a handful of games that I've like fully replayed on the NSO apps. It's like Paper Mario, Chibi Robo, WarioWare. Honestly, the Game Boy Advance stuff is probably what I've played the most on the NSO apps and stuff. But like I do, like, I like them, and when Golden Sun came out, I booted it up for 5-10 minutes and said sick and moved on.
Right.
It was mostly just cool that they added them, but I am actually interested in reevaluating them for myself because I haven't played them since they were new. And I would be curious to see how I feel about them now, in 2025. It's more so a timing thing, but just the soundtracks to me are nominal. Like they're okay. They work, they're good. It's fine. I'm glad it's on the app, but it's not blowing my hair back.
Yeah, the last note I have on this, again, since I've never even played The Lost Age, is, you describing it as, like, the darker, edgier older brother, like the 13-year-old brother compared to, like, the 10-year-old brother kind of thing. Like, the standard enemy battle music in this is, like, a slight rearrangement of Golden Sun's enemy battle, but, yeah, it is a little bit, like, darker, a tiny bit, But right. I really like that. I think that's very fun, and I'm very fascinated by the idea of direct sequels to JRPGs because they don't do that with like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, at least not very often. And especially back then when these were new, like that was unheard of for those series. But then you have stuff like Golden Sun or even like the Trails games that were around doing that forever ago, but they just weren't as much on my radar, I guess. But yeah, I also would like to really give Golden Sun like a sit down at some point. It's just, this year has been absolutely buck wild with game releases, and it's just not a good time for it. But I promise you, I played 20 hours of Chibi Robo on the GameCube app. I will play both the Golden Sun games at some point on the Game Boy Advance app.
Yeah, I don't even remember them being super long. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I don't remember them being like the longest RPGs in the world. And they're cool. Like they're cool games, and they're pretty ahead of their time. And you know, I remember just being really invested in the story. Like in the Lost Age, you play as I think his name's Felix, and it's cool because like in the beginning of the first game, Felix was like your friend, and like he's like presumed dead and stuff like that, and there's all this like drama going on with him, and then it turns out he's not dead, and in fact he's kind of with the bad guys and stuff, and then in the Lost Age you get to play from like his perspective. Like it's cool. Like there's cool story stuff going on with these games, and I would be very curious to see how that all hits, and the combat and stuff. I'd be curious to see how I land with that.
It's the combat I would be most curious to experience again. Also, the games were really lauded for their visuals as Game Boy Advance games back then, but from what I've seen of them on the Game Boy Advance app, they're very, very chunky and blurry and pixelated, specifically in the battle mode, which again, it makes sense for the time they came out in. But yeah, at some point it would be fun to give them both like a real good reevaluation, maybe even in podcast form. That would actually be pretty fun. Next up, we had Super Mario Galaxy 2. This was composed by Mahito Yokota, Ryo Nagamatsu, and Koji Kondo. I believe Koji Kondo only did like a couple songs on the soundtrack. I think he did like the Yoshi Galaxy song, and then like the Puzzle Plank Galaxy, if I remember correctly. But then if you dare to Google who composed Mario Galaxy 2, Google AI will just tell you it was Koji Kondo, which is very annoying.
Yeah, of course.
You can, assume that this was added to Nintendo Music because Mario Galaxy 2 is being re-released on the Switch in just a couple weeks at this point, which is cool. I think Mario Galaxy 2 as a video game is kind of overrated, but I think the soundtrack is kind of underrated, especially because people compare it directly to the first Mario Galaxy soundtrack.
Right. I think that Mario Galaxy 2 is a little less like... what's the word I'm looking for? Like sweeping and like almost Disney coded, Like the first Mario Galaxy is very orchestral, and this has some of that, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like for me, the music of both of these games is by far the best part about them. Like I like these games a lot, but they're not my favorite Mario games by any stretch, and the music is really kind of the standout element of them. And for me, Mario Galaxy 2 in both gameplay and music allowed itself to be a little bit more experimental. Like I really like the Puzzle Plank Galaxy that you mentioned. Like I love that song. That's one of my favorite Mario Galaxy songs, period. And I just, it's cool. Like it's a little bit, more interesting. Like there's like stuff with like the fiddle and whatnot. It's more interesting than just like, hey, like let's get this big sweeping orchestra and string sections, and again, nothing wrong with that, but I do think that Mario Galaxy 2 has a little bit more like texture to it, a little bit more variety to it. And I actually am pretty, again, I mean, speaking of a game that I want to reevaluate, I'm curious how I would feel about Mario Galaxy 2 in 2025 as well, because like replaying Mario Galaxy 1 when they came out with 3D All-Stars, I was like, oh, I kind of don't like this nearly as much as I remember, and I would be curious how I feel about Galaxy 2 because I haven't played that in years.
I last replayed Galaxy 2 when they released it on the Virtual Console on Wii U. I mean, it technically wasn't Virtual Console, but you know what I mean. They let you buy Wii games on the Wii U eShop.
Right.
I 100% of the game for like the second time then, and yeah, I had the same conclusion replaying Galaxy 2 that I did replaying Galaxy 1, which is that they're both amazing first-time experiences when everything is hitting you for the first time, and like the sense of wonder is so important to these games, and they both do such a good job of conveying that. But when you're replaying them, they don't have nearly that much wonder, so then you're kind of left with like the 3D Mario games that are the least interesting to actually play, right? Like, again, amazing soundtracks, and I love the look of them, but Mario is the least acrobatic, the least fun to move. He's only got like, he's got what, a jump, he's got like the backwards jump, the long jump, and like that's it. Like, I want to be doing like all these cool things with Mario, you know, like
Yeah.
Mario 64, the reason I still love it so much, despite its flaws, is because he is so fun to control there. He feels like a little demon the way you can move him around like any way you want. And then in Mario Galaxy, despite the fact that you're in outer space and you should feel like weightless, they literally do low gravity sections in both games. Mario just feels so clunky and chunky to move. Like it feels worse to move Mario in the Galaxy games than it does in like the original Mario to me, because the original Super Mario Bros. Has interesting physics stuff going on with how Mario feels. Mario doesn't really feel like anything in the Galaxy games, and to me that's like
Sure.
the biggest sin they commit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too, right? Because they had like a real like logistical problem with the core conceit of the game, like the gravity elements, the constant perspective changes, and because of that, they had this automatic like camera, repositioning and stuff. Like they had this whole system baked into it, and I think that it actually works quite well for the most part, but because of that, because the player doesn't have that kind of freedom, like you do kind of feel like you're just like a character moving through like a stilted world or something. Like it's like a series of dioramas or something like that, versus like this big open like play field that you can kind of like, I don't know, explore however you want. Like you're just kind of going from place to place like a roller coaster,
Mm-hmm.
And again, like there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it's not, it isn't my favorite. What I remember liking more about Galaxy 2, because replaying Galaxy 1 on 3D All-Stars is like, man, it's really annoying to like, have to like circle back to different like areas of the observatory and like hope that you get like a passing comet or whatever, and like then I can go and clean that up. Like I remember appreciating how much more straightforward the progression of Galaxy 2 was. It's almost like if this is what the game is, at least they're leaning into it this time, like the kind of linearity of it. So I remember preferring that. But again, like I am kind of curious, and I think I'm stupid enough that I think I've even convinced myself to get that dumb double pack at this point, despite how overpriced and stupid it is.
I mean, hey man, they changed some fonts. I'd say that's
Yeah,
worth
look.
$70.
New fonts, a few new textures. I will, to their credit, somebody did post like on their website, they have like videos. They actually, the 3D All-Stars version of Galaxy, they didn't touch at all, and like it looked pretty bad, especially the cutscenes looked really bad. They actually did go in and like re-render the cutscenes like in 4K, and it actually looks really good. And the Switch 2 version apparently has mouse control, and I'm fascinated by that. Like I really want to play that way and see what the hell that's like.
I saw people talking about that. I didn't watch the video or whatever. Is it literally just for the pointer controls, or like what is it for?
Like I assume so, but I'm really curious what that's going to mean for like because Mario, like the way you attack is by like shaking the Joy-Con or the Wii remote nunchuck or whatever. So I'm really curious how that's going to translate to mouse control. Like that part of, I feel like I want to get it for like research purposes.
Sure.
Like I want to see like what like how this stuff works, and also the fact that there's new pages in Rosalina's storybook. I'm like, yeah, I do kind of want to see like what's up with that,
I get it. Like the simple effect is, I just wish it didn't cost $70. If this costs
exactly
a little bit, even just a little bit cheaper, I'd have been all over it. But it's just, I've replayed Galaxy 1 within the last 5 years, and that's just where I stand on it. And like, I don't want to pay $40 just for Mario Galaxy 2. I will say, we talked about like the variety of the soundtrack and stuff. I'm not going to play it beneath us at all, but I just want to shout out Slimy Spring Galaxy, which is the super cool minimalistic level. It's like literally almost all underwater, and it has just like this kind of droning sound beneath it. And it's very interesting as a Mario song. And then at the very end of the level, you finally come up out of the water, and there's like this big sunset or sunrise in the horizon, and you finish the level. That's easily my favorite part of Mario Galaxy 2 was just the slimy spring galaxy. It's very, very cool. Also, the name Slimy Spring Galaxy. I want to shout out, this is slight spoilers for the end of Galaxy 2, but this game is over 15 years old at this point. It's fine. I was always very disappointed that they give you a spaceship that's shaped like Mario's head, but that the final boss of the game wasn't like a mech Mario fighting a giant Bowser. The moment they revealed that back in like 2010 or whatever, my brain instantly said, oh, they're gonna put the Mario face ship like on a body, and then you're gonna control that to fight Bowser, and then they did not do that at all, and I still hold a grudge against the game for that after all these years.
You know what I hold a grudge with these games about is there was a big contingent. When Mario Galaxy 1 came out, I was big into like the Mario fan community still, and there was a huge contingent of people, myself included, because we had seen footage of the intro of the game, which is like a UFO like pulling up, Peach's castle and stuff. And myself and a bunch of others were convinced that Tatanga from Mario Land 2 and Mario Land 1 was going to be like a villain in Mario Galaxy, and that obviously did not come to pass. What's really funny is I made a video about Tatanga on my YouTube channel years ago at this point, and I'm since the announcement of the Mario Galaxy movie, I've been getting new comments on that video like every day of people being like, I hope Tatanga's in the Mario Galaxy movie, and I'm like, dude, like part of me is kind of delighted that there are other people who think like me, and that like they're still out there. But also it's like I've given up hope on Nintendo remembering who the hell Tatanga is, man.
I'm still waiting for Wart to come back in any significant capacity, man. I mean, I guess we saw him in Link's Awakening, but that's not the same Wart as Mario 2 Wart. That's my headcanon. We ended up talking about Mario Galaxy 2 quite a bit, honestly. With that said, what are you giving this pair of drops for a letter grade?
I'm gonna give it a B+.
Yep, that's exactly where I came down on it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go B+ just because, again, I do like. I think Galaxy 2 is a great soundtrack, and I do like, the idea of dropping it at this time after the Direct. Everybody's very, Galaxy pilled right now, so when better a time to drop this, So I think that's all very deft and well understood and well considered by Nintendo. I'm down with all of that. Golden Sun: The Lost Age, frankly, actually kind of drags it down for me a little. I think it's just, again, it's a fine soundtrack, but it's something that I kind of forgot wasn't already there. And when they added it, rather than like excited to see it included, I was kind of like, oh, I didn't realize that wasn't already there. Okay, then, and kind of moved on. Had it been, something that was like a real, good surprise, or like if the soundtrack had been like a little stronger, this would have been an easy like A-. But as it stands, yeah, B+ was where I landed.
Yeah, I'm basically grading this like entirely off of Mario Galaxy 2. Again, I do like what I heard of the Lost Age soundtrack, but when I don't have the context for it anyway, I can't
it's not
really.
Bad.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, Mario Galaxy 2, I like it just as much, if not more so, than Galaxy 1, just for the reasons you said. Like, it has bigger variety than Galaxy 1. Didn't feel like it was trying to be as Disney-ified overall. Like, there still is a little bit of that whimsy and whatever. But yeah, Mario Galaxy 2 is a great soundtrack. I would argue it's the best part about both of the Galaxy games, are their soundtracks. Yeah. With that said, then, we are going to get into some remixes and rearrangements and what have you. The way we did this last time is we each picked one of our own picks, and we paired it with the other person. That's a real weird way of saying that. We're each just gonna pick one of our songs and we're gonna play them together. So okay. Seth, what of yours do you want to start with?
You know what? I'll just start with the first one I have here, the Tetris OC remix.
Okay. Then I guess I'm going to pair that with this Castlevania Chronicles song then, because I think that's the best pairing we can do there. So in that case then, You're going to listen to T-Spin, which is an OC remix by Stiffles. A remix of the A-Type song from Tetris. And then you're going to listen to Thrashered in the Cave, the arranged version from Castlevania Chronicles that was composed by Shin-Chan, not Shin-Chan the anime. I don't know. It was just
Not
credited to
Crayon
Shin-Chan.
Shin-Chan.
Yeah. Composed by Shin-Chan, Kaizo Nakamura, and Hiroshi Kobayashi. So again, that's T-Spin and Thrashered in the Cave arranged version, and we will be back. that was T-Spin by Stiefels.
It's a fun name to say.
It is a fun name to say, yeah. And Thrashered in the Cave arranged version, which also Thrashered is a fun word to say too.
What is that? What
I
does
don't
that
know.
mean?
I part of me takes it as like, do they mean like thrash hard in the cave and they just combined?
Oh,
I don't know if that's what it means.
okay.
I should have maybe looked up to see if Thrashered is actually a word before we did this episode.
Well, I was like thinking to myself, like, are they trying to like work in like thrash and Alucard or something? But I don't even think like you play as like Simon Belmont in Castlevania Chronicles, don't you?
Yeah, we'll I guess we'll get to it, but yeah, it's another like remake of Castlevania 1, I think.
I just googled Thrashard, and there's a song by a group called DRI called Thrashard.
Okay.
And it's I don't really the lyrics are, there's a gig at 5th and Main, gonna catch the bus or take the train, we'll steal or find or borrow cash and we'll be there ready to thrash. So this doesn't answer my question really at all. Yeah, I don't know. And then yeah, like the third result here is just somebody on Reddit asking what Thrashered means related to this OC remix.
Yep, I guess the world will never know, but it's a cool song. I guess we'll talk about T-Spin first, though. I will say, between this song, T-Spin, and another song you picked that we'll get to later, I feel like you've assaulted me today. I feel like there's been like violence going on. Because let me paint a picture for you. It is like the first day here in Hamburg that feels like fall. It's rainy, it's gray, it's kind of chilly, and then I'm listening, making notes for this music, and most of my songs are very like calm and peaceful, and then you're coming at me with stuff like T-Spin.
This is not calm and peaceful whatsoever. To be fair, I chose this song long ago. I chose when we knew we were going to do this episode after Summer of Nintendo was over, and I heard this song for the first time at the most recent SGDQ, because they play OC remixes like all the time on their breaks or whatever, and like immediately when I heard it, I was like, oh my god, like this is crazy, and I went and found it and saved it like for this episode. So I chose it long ago.
It was almost like sinister at points to me. Again, it's not a criticism exactly, but it just was not the vibe this morning. And what I mean by that is it's a vibe of feeling like a 17-year-old kid is going to hold me up at knife point in an alley or something, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's very like yeah, I was more like in an electronic space for some reason with a lot of my picks. One of them is not, like one of them is a little more cozy and stuff, but two of my picks are very like electronic forward. I mean, this is like a straight up like D&B remix of Tetris A-Type, but it's very, what really gets me about this is how like how layered it is, like how much work went into this remix. Like there's arpeggiators that harmonize at certain points, like that just punchy percussion. There's like a solo at like 112. It just goes crazy. Like I just remember hearing it and like I heard it on SGDQ, and it was one of those like you have a physical reaction, like it melts your face, you know. Yeah, it kind of blew me away a little bit when I first heard it. I was like, I can't believe somebody like went this hard on a Tetris A-Type remix.
Yeah, like it is a very technically like proficient and complicated song. It really is like assaulting your ears with just a bunch of stuff. And again, I'm not trying to talk down on it or whatever. Like it is a very impressive song. And now I kind of at some point I should look up and see if Stiefels has posted anything else on OC Remix.
Yeah.
Because if they all sound like of this quality, would be pretty insane. I'll shout out that I think my favorite part was around 50 seconds in, mostly because it kind of sounded like a Paper Mario battle theme or something, like a 1,000-Year Door boss battle theme or something.
Yeah, like it has that kind of like tempo to it for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I just I really liked it. I mean, Stiefels really popped off. Schiffles really like saw the Matrix with this one.
Yeah. I guess that's what happens. That's the Tetris effect. When you play too much Tetris, you see the Matrix and you just start automatically making music like this, apparently.
Yeah, well, I guess let's talk Thrashered in the Cave then. Because I really dug this. It was not at all what I expected, nor had I ever heard it before. Castlevania Chronicles in general, I'm not super familiar with, so like to hear this like arranged version of this song I wasn't familiar with was it was an interesting experience. Like it wasn't what I was expecting, and honestly, this pairs I think better than you might expect with my, it's almost like a D&B song for a D&B song here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you said you're going for T-Spin, I'm like, well, none of my other ones fit that vibe at all. This is the one that comes closest, so let's go for it, kind of thing. Yeah, Thrashered in the Cave is kind of like everything I like about like music, I guess, kind of like we've talked about before. Well, have we? The only time we've played Neon White music here is on the Billy Hatcher episode, which I wasn't on because Presto called in about it.
Yeah,
I love the Neon White soundtrack. It's one of my favorite recent video game soundtracks.
That game really deserves a full episode at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's just one of those things we just haven't gotten around to yet. But
yeah,
like I love that. Yeah, early 2000s or late 90s D&B vibe, and the fact that this song is in a Castlevania game is stupid. Again, I've not played Castlevania Chronicles. My understanding is it is some kind of, again, remake of Castlevania 1, which that game has been remade like 3 or 4 times anyway. It might be drawing in elements from like Haunted Mansion, I think is what's going on with it. But yeah, it's even with that in mind, the song doesn't really fit anything of what I associate with Castlevania, which, if you're not aware, is like a Dracula hunting game. Most of the games are set like in like the 1400s or before and stuff, right? So then now you have to imagine like you're going through presumably some caves hunting Dracula and fighting like mermen and stuff while listening to this. It doesn't make any sense. We talked a lot on the Castlevania Symphony of the Night episode about why does it sound like this down here. I would argue that Thrashered in the Caves is even more of the why does it sound like this down here vibe, even more so than all of Symphony of the Night, and I love it for that.
It is crazy. Like it's a crazy. There are moments of there are moments of climax in this song that are insane. like when this song really reaches like maximum velocity, and it's just like, I imagine, do you ever get this when you're listening to music? You imagine like the waveform or something, like as if you were, editing it or producing it or something. Like there are moments where I imagine the waveform just looks like a sawtooth comb, just like crazy. But like it's funny and interesting because, especially when the song opens, it starts off very like warbly and twinkly, like psychedelic almost.
I love how echoey it sounds in the beginning. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, but it's cool because it eventually kind of, works in that D&B kind of percussion and movement and stuff. And then throughout the song, like that like 60s psychedelic funk kind of vibe like stays in the background. Like it never really loses that mix. Like it kind of, I don't know, stays at that cross section throughout the entire song, and I really like that. Like those are not two flavors you would think would go together really at all, and it almost feels like this song is forcing them to,
Yeah, like there's so many weird like disparate elements of this song coming together, and again, the fact that it exists in an actual official Castlevania game, like this isn't a fan remix, this is an official rearrangement inside of an actual Castlevania game. It's very funny. Like I just keep coming back to the fact that like I love this song. I first heard it like I don't know, a year ago, and I'm like, what the hell is this and why have I never heard it before? People were saying in the YouTube comments that like, because people were saying this is like a very calm song for them, and it's funny because like at times it is, but half the time it's not calming to me at all.
Yeah.
But then people were saying like, yeah, I don't know why you're calling this calm. Maybe if you ever played the game, because apparently at some point the water level is rising, so you're having to like hurry and do
Mm.
platforming in Castlevania games while you're racing to not drown in the water and stuff, and it is not calm at all. So I love that for some people, like, this song is calm, and for other people it brings like PTSD about drowning in a cave in Castlevania to mind.
Well, it's funny because those are basically the two flavors of the song. I guess it really just depends on what you're latching onto, right? Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add about Thrashered in the Caves?
No, if anybody listening is familiar with the etymology of Thrashered, will you please leave a comment or something? Because I would like to know that this DRI song is the only thing I can find. I've been kind of still looking on Google while we've been talking here, and this one other song in the history of music shares this word, and that's all I can find.
When I see the word Thrashered, I think of, I don't know, like going out into the fields with like a scythe and you're like thrasherding like fields of wheat or barley or something. That's what I think of, but that I don't think that's right, but that's what it makes me think of.
I don't really know, like it makes me think of like something you would call somebody like, oh, like he's a real thrashered or something like that, like just somebody who likes to thrash is a real thrashered or something. Like I don't know. It seems like a very like old English term or something to me.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean when I'm talking about like it makes me think of like farmers going out in the field with a scythe or something. It feels very old English to me. But then also calling someone a thrasher is interesting because this isn't really relevant to anything, but this game gave Simon Belmont a very late 90s anime redesign. This is when he got red hair for the first time, and I think at times he might be like shirtless or something. Maybe I'm confusing multiple designs of Simon Belmont, but I don't know. I guess you could describe Simon Belmont as a thrasher, even if I don't know what the word means. It kind of fits. Like he's thrasherding around in Dracula's castle.
He's a thrasher. It also seems like that could be the name of like a Monster Hunter monster. I gotta fight the Thrashered. I need to get my Thrashered gem.
Yeah, we're farming Thrashered gems today. Yeah. I guess then let's go on to our next couple remixes. I guess for this one, let's tone it down a little bit. I'm gonna pick In the Bar funk cover from the Consoles.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm curious. Do you think that my cozier arrangement would pair better with this or your last one?
I have no idea. I mean,
okay.
My immediate thought would be this one makes sense, but honestly, if it doesn't make sense, it's kind of funnier that way anyway. So either way
That's
you want to
true.
do it is fine.
Let's go for it then. Let's go ahead and pair it with this one then. It's Layton's theme from Professor Layton and the Curious Village, the jazz arrangement by Insane in the Rain music on YouTube.
Cool. So we got In the Bar funk cover by the Consoles, and then Layton's theme from Professor Layton and the Curious Village by Insane in the Rain, and we will be back. that was In the Bar, funk cover by the Consoles, and then Layton's theme from Professor Layton and the Curious Village, jazz arrangement by Insane in the Rain. For In the Bar, for one, this is from Streets of Rage 2. I guess I didn't say that the entire time. Maybe that would have been good context to know before we played this song. This is to me, this is a super underrated song from Streets of Rage 2. Basically everyone knows the first level or the first section of the first level song in Streets of Rage 2 that goes straight. And yeah, it rules. It's like the perfect, hey, this is what the vibe we're going for is. It's a perfect mission statement of Streets of Rage 2. But when you're halfway through the first level, you go into a bar, and then funnily enough, it plays In the Bar when you're in the bar. And it's just so cool because you go from like this super like late 80s, early 90s dance mix with Go Straight, and then immediately you've got this tonal shift to like smoky bar vibes, and it's so cool. So that's the context of the original version of In the Bar from Streets of Rage 2. But then you've got this rearrangement by the Consoles, and it's just so fun. Like I just I don't know. For one, there's a video of them playing it. They didn't just upload the actual song itself. There's a video of them like performing it in one of their living rooms, presumably. It's just so fun. It's fun watching people play music, especially in that kind of personal atmosphere of being just in one of their living rooms or whatever. There's like a gratuitous 1.5-minute keyboard solo for no reason.
Dude,
it's so good.
Yeah, this is a very luxuriating like song. Like you can tell they really like allowed time, for a lot of things, which I really like. My first note here is this is some walking down the street music. So there's that. This is a very like sax forward, like the sax lead in this is really good and really forward, and obviously I love that about it. For me though, the star of the show here is the upright bass, and I love like just really good like little bass fills and bass walks and stuff in this, and people really like pay attention to the bass in this, and it is like a very technically proficient little like bass section in this song that I really appreciate, and I think really like kind of brings the whole thing together. It's like the quiet star of the song for me. Yeah, I also have that keyboard solo, which is cool because the keyboard solo kind of sounds like chiptune adjacent, right? Like it kind of reminds you that this is a video game cover, after all. And also it's pretty clear when you watch the video, and y'all should really watch the video. We'll have it linked in the show notes. Pretty clear that it's an improvised solo, just based on the energy and the kind of like silent acknowledgments from both the sax lead and the drummer, who, by the way, the drummer is barefoot. Which I thought was by the way, yeah, I'm not beating the allegations today. But I couldn't help but notice that the drummer was barefoot, and I thought that was crazy. And yeah, but they're just kind of like acknowledging, like they're kind of waiting for their cue back in. So I'm pretty sure they just let that dude go off, and I love that.
It's so good. Also, why have I never had neighbors that were like putting on a 4-piece improvisational jazz show in their living room? The only neighbors I've ever had are people stomping around above me at 3 a.m. and dropping bowling balls, apparently.
Oh my God. Yeah, tell me about it, dude. Kids screaming and whatnot.
Oh, there's this little demon child above us that will just like, it feels like she just opens her mouth and just lets out noise for like 15 seconds straight. Where do the Consoles live? I want to live there, basically.
Yeah, I'd rather live by them.
Yeah. Speaking of like a fun video to watch when it comes to these remixes, Layton's theme by Insane in the Rain was also, I mean, his videos are always like that. Like his videos have always, to me, really showcased how much fun he has doing what he's doing and just playing music. It's actually funny pairing these songs together. I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but yeah, these both just like show off to me how much fun it is to just like sit down and play an instrument, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of his for a while, and like I love videos like this. Like, we've covered artists like this before. Like like PPF or poop fart
Use
on
his
YouTube.
full name, proper name.
Yeah, got to use his government name, poop fart. Like those videos where it's like one person playing a bunch of different instruments and kind of just like showing them loving it, having a ton of fun, like completely rearranging a song, and just like I don't know. I love that stuff. I love the amount of work that goes into it. And this, like, there's a bunch of things about this that I really like, but I think my favorite thing here, Professor Layton and the Curious Village, one of my favorite games on the DS, has a very like French vibe, like a little French countryside village and stuff. And so this song kind of early on has the mission statement of, let's, make this like jazz funk fusion thing, but still maintain that French vibe with like accordion and stuff like this. And I think he nailed that. Like, I think he really did a great job of like marrying those two very different vibes. And I really appreciate the amount of work that must have taken to arrange it that way. I love that he chose to make the clarinet the lead of this. And like, it would have been tempting to just make like the saxophone the lead and just like let that be what it is. But the saxophone is actually more like in the background, and he lets it come out like for harmonies and stuff with the clarinet, but the clarinet is really like the lead of this whole thing. And I love that. Like, the clarinet gets a cool solo at 2:05, and I love the way that sounds. I love that the percussion of the song is like Brazilian, like hand drums and like tambourines, and I just think this has such a unique flavor. I think he crushed it with this.
Yeah, I followed Insane in the Rain for like, I don't know, like probably at least a decade or something. I'm not sure exactly, but it's been a long time. But I mostly watch his Pokemon videos or his Pokemon rearrangements. Like, I'm not much of a Layton person, honestly. I've played a tiny bit of one of them. I couldn't even tell you which one it was. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. But it's just not what I generally want out of a video game, basically.
Sure.
So I've never seen this one before. I've never listened to this one before. And yeah, it rules. I didn't know he could even play the accordion until I watched this video this morning, honestly.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not aware, he actually, in most of his videos, unless there's like something he specifically doesn't know how to play or needs female vocals or whatever, he plays all the parts. Like, he records all the parts, plays separately, and then combines it into one. So yeah, I think on this one, he was playing every single instrument that you hear. And yeah, it's just super impressive. I'm always impressed when I hear anyone that knows how to play the accordion. Honestly, it just seems like such a crazy thing to know how to play.
Yeah. I can't even imagine like the logistics of like playing an accordion well. Like,
and even learning how to play it. It seems like it would be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. This is one of my favorite. I have a few kind of like Layton covers and rearrangements and stuff in my back pocket, but this is my favorite one. And I did, as you guys will hear soon, my other two picks for this were very electronic. I did very intentionally wanted to get something a little more cozy, a little more like real instrument, sort of thing, like a little more live flavor, I guess. So that was the purpose that this one served.
Speaking of that, then, do we want to get to our last two songs for the episode, or at least our last two songs?
Yeah, let's do it.
So then you've got Infinite Amethyst, the Snail's House remix, and that's from Minecraft, right?
Yeah, it is from last year. They released a Minecraft sort of remix album called Pixel Genesis, and that's what this comes from. Yeah.
Okay. And then for me, for my last pick of this episode, we've got A Stroll Down Memory Lane. This is an OC remix by Tremendas featuring Gamer of the Winds, and that's an Okami remix. So again, We've got Infinite Amethyst, the Snail's House remix, and a Stroll Down Memory Lane in Okami OC remix, and we will be right back. And that was Infinite Amethyst, the Snail's House remix, and a Stroll Down Memory Lane in Okami OC remix by Tremendas. For Infinite Amethyst, this is not what I was expecting at all. Again, this is very much counter to my mood this morning. And we still haven't even gotten to all the songs that were also counter to my mood this morning, but we'll save that for the voicemails, I guess. I saw when I was looking stuff up that Lena Raine was the composer of the original version of this. And that's so funny because to me, after I listened to the original, I would have thought that was a C418 song. If you just played that for me, said it was from Minecraft, and asked me who do I think composes, I would have said C418. I barely kind of recognized it as Lena Raine's work until a bit later in the song. Then I heard a bit more of her stuff, her normal tells, basically. But yeah, this Snail's House remix, this actually reads more to me like a Lena Raine song than the actual original does, which I think is really cool.
It's funny, right? Because I think the actual melodies of it are very Lena Raine, but the original has such a more, I mean, obviously it's a much slower tempo, and like the instrumentation is very like Minecraft, and so I think because of that, it winds up reading like more of C418's like original Minecraft score. And I'm sure that Lena Raine was trying to in some ways evoke that when she came on to do composition for it. I think this is from like the Caves and Cliffs update or whatever that she did the music for, and it's all quite good. But yeah, like when you kind of up-tempo this, make it a little more electronic, make it a little more melodic, it does come away feeling like something a little more typical of her work, which is interesting. And just in general, I really loved the entire Pixel Genesis album. Like I knew I wanted to have something from that album here because I wanted to spotlight it. It's just very nostalgic for me. I don't have a ton of love for Minecraft, but they basically got a bunch of artists for this that like I was listening to in like the mid 2010s. Like a lot of these people come from like the SoundCloud days, you know, back when I was like, you know, spending all my time like on internet forums and listening to SoundCloud artists. Like that's how I discovered Snail's House. Like I think I've been a fan of Snail's House since like 2008 or something like that. So really cool to see people like Snail's House and Leon Chang on this, who I'm still a big fan of. Anamanaguchi does a remix on this. It's just that like that kind of mid 2010s, you know, sort of like electronic music kind of movement as a Minecraft remix album, and it really works for me. I love this track in particular. Is probably my favorite track on the album because it just takes that like chill Minecraft like kind of flavor, remixes it as this like emotional kawaii future bass thing, like feels like something you would hear in the club in Japan. You know, it hits me just right. I love it.
Yeah, the main note I really had on the song, besides the Lena Raine stuff, was just it's got a very like chiptune power of friendship will get us through this kind of vibe.
Yes.
And yeah, I get it. I like that stuff too. It's got like an Undertale vibe a little bit because of that.
Cobalt Core a little.
Yeah. I will say I instantly I'd never heard the original either, the one done by Lena Raine, and that instantly got added to my personal video game music playlist. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't even really realize that despite knowing that Lena Raine worked on some of the more recent Minecraft stuff, I've never heard until now any more modern Minecraft stuff. All my Minecraft music knowledge is from like the original C418 stuff in the original release of Minecraft, which is phenomenal, which is some of my favorite video game music ever, like of all time. Like I own the vinyl of that, and it's something I still will turn on despite the fact that I've basically never played Minecraft. But that original soundtrack is something super special to me. But yeah, hearing the original Infinite Amethyst, I'm like, damn, like I'm glad I didn't have faith that they would have as good of a soundtrack for their newer stuff as the original, but no, it's awesome. I really, really quite like it.
Yeah, they've maintained a pretty good like standard of quality with Minecraft's like music, I feel like. Which is nice. Like, you know, they could have very easily kind of like slipped away or just not added new music at all. But no, they with every like major update, I think they've added like new music to the game, and it's genuinely really good stuff. I don't think anything's like quite at the level of that original stuff for me, but yeah, dude, they've done good work with that.
For a stroll down memory lane, this is a remix of Reset from Okami. We've somehow like never really talked about Okami on this podcast, which I find very interesting because
Yeah.
I like Okami a lot. I've only ever played it once because it's like an 80-hour game, even just doing minimum stuff in it. But the soundtrack has always been what stuck out the most to me about Okami, and the thing that always really hit me from that game. And Reset is actually my favorite song from Okami, one of my favorite video game songs of all time, frankly. And then what's also funny is the reason I even played Okami in the first place, the Wii version nearly 20 years ago, was because there was an OC remix of Reset by McVaffy, who is one of my favorite OC remixers of that era. He did a Reset remix, and that was the reason why I bought Okami on the Wii. And normally I would have just went for that as a song to spotlight on this show, but it turns out this OC remix was just uploaded like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, why not? Like, let's go for like a more modern OC remix instead of just the stuff I was listening to 20 years ago kind of thing. This is a real weird song to me. Like, it's got a little bit of like Metroid Prime, like West Coast 90s hip hop vibe to it at times. Like, specifically, it's got like a Warren G sound going on at times.
Yeah.
But then it's got like these sudden guitar plucks around 305, and then it's got like a Year of the Cat vibe by Al Stewart going on. It's a super interesting remix. I don't know if it all like works for me, but I really like the end result. Like, to me, the sum of it's greater than the sum of its parts, I guess is what I'm saying.
I definitely get that kind of like Warren G hip hop thing with both the bass and the guitar. Like, that really kind of makes me feel that. But I also just like with the movement of like when strings and like that kind of clean like synth comes in, and then like later on there's like a flute passage. Like, it was giving me like some real like Weather Channel, you know, kind of energy, or like you know, like my first note is like Okami's OST is elevator music complimentary. You know, like I don't know, I like that vibe. It's not at all, you know, for those who don't know, Okami is a very sort of like the entire soundtrack uses a lot of like traditional Japanese instrumentation. You know, it has that kind of flavor to it, and so this is not at all like I don't know what mindset you would be in to think about approaching an Okami remix this way, you know.
Especially like, yeah, this is basically Reset is basically the end song of the game. Like, I think it's not the credits, I think, but it's like the last song you hear before the credits, if I remember correctly. It has been a very long time though.
Me
since
too.
I played Okami.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's got this very like sweeping, like very like finale feel and like kind of bittersweet vibe, and like I get like a little bit of that here, but yeah, it's like this weird like bastard mix of Warren G and Al Stewart and Weather Channel and Okami, and also harp. There's also some harp in there, and when all of that is all together at around 408 specifically, I'm just like, this is a weird song, man, but yeah, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, I haven't replayed. I did replay Okami actually when the Switch port came out, and that's actually my favorite way to play the game now. It's a great port, and it goes on sale all the time. So like, if you're looking for it, it is genuinely better than a lot of 3D Zelda games at being a 3D Zelda game. You know, I really like it. It has its annoyances. It's not like one of my favorites of all time or anything, but you know, I genuinely, of that era, like, I would sooner replay Okami than Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, personally.
I don't know, because it's been so long since I've replayed it that I don't know how I feel about it, but I definitely liked it more than Twilight Princess at the time of release of both of them. I don't know
Yeah.
if like the things I found annoying about Okami, mostly like how much dialogue there can be at times
Yeah.
is really the main issue. I never was like a huge fan of the combat, but then again, I was playing on the Wii version where you're just like kind of whipping your Wii remote around kind
Right,
of thing.
right.
Yeah, I've owned the Switch version for years and years and years. Like probably when I still lived in America, I bought it, and I just have never booted it up just because I know what a commitment that game is. It would be a prime candidate to play or to cover on this show, and I know I am the one that puts the burden on myself of forcing myself to replay every game that we cover. I don't have to do that, I'm aware, and again, I have played it before, but the only reason it hasn't really come up seriously in my mind of we could do this on the show is just because knowing how long it would take to get through the
Yeah.
game again. But I still would like to cover it on the show at some point because it really does have a fantastic soundtrack. Was there anything else you wanted to add about this song, or really the previous song, the Infinite Amethyst?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I like the variety we have here. It's actually kind of cool to like, I haven't thought about Okami in a while. I haven't thought about Professor Layton in a little while. It reminds me that, hey, aren't we still supposed to be getting a Professor Layton game this year?
Oh, I totally forgot. And we just had an hour-long direct where that didn't show up at all.
Yeah, I'm not feeling so good, Mr. Stark. I don't really think I kind of feel like that's getting delayed, but hey, I would love to be wrong.
My like, again, I'm not like invested in Layton like at all, basically. I mean, the game looks good. The new one looks really cool, and if I were to ever get into the series now, feels kind of like the time. But yeah, with how level 5 is with their releases and the fact that we somehow got Fantasy Life, and I think the new Inazuma is supposed to come out in November, that always kind of
Yeah.
told me that we weren't getting Professor Layton this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's fine. I like honestly, Fantasy Life I turned out so well for them. I like they can have a free pass. And by the way, have plenty to play in the meantime. It's cool.
That's my thing too, is that there's so many games out right now. If anything, just kind of lightening the load for me, even
Yeah.
just slightly, is I kind of appreciate it more than it. Honestly, more of y'all should delay your games for my sake, personally.
Yeah.
With that said, then I know this is like a shorter one than usual, but that was like the
That was
main
the point.
event. Yeah, exactly. We just wanted to play a bunch of remixes and like just talk about them for a bit. Also, I don't know. Yeah, we talked about Mario Galaxy 2 a bunch this episode. We talked about Okami more than I was expecting. So yeah, it just was a little variety show episode before we get into kind of the Halloween season stuff. But before we talk about that, we got YouTube comments and the voicemail. So let's get into the YouTube comment oversharing corner. As a reminder, this is the section of the show where we read off any funny or memorable or interesting or downright insane comments that we stumbled across while grabbing songs for this episode. Kind of slim pickings. I mean, yeah, to be fair, we only had 6 songs up to this point. Well, I guess 7 counting Infinity Nikki, but I was the one that had to upload it a couple days ago, so it makes sense
You didn't have any comments rolling in for that.
I will say, I only uploaded that 2 days ago, and I basically only uploaded it for my own sake, for making the playlist for this episode later on. And it already has like 100 views and multiple thumbs up, which, that's not like a huge amount, but clearly Infinity Nikki fans like me were saying, why the hell is no one uploading the Infinity Nikki Stardew Valley stuff?
It's a starved market, yeah.
Seemingly. I genuinely think that's the case. I rarely hear any kind of like mainstream talk about Infinity Nikki, so Bit Harmony will continue to be your number one source for Infinity Nikki music, I guess. For this first comment, we've got YouTube user Little Badass Gaming, all one word. I really hate that. They commented on Thrashered in the Cave 4 years ago, and they just said Castlevania Kart double slash, which I think is funny in a way, but is Are they trying to say that Thrasher in the Cave sounds like Double Dash? Because it doesn't really
so.
to me.
Yeah, I think that's what they're implying there. Or they just like maybe they were listening to that song and came up with that pun and just thought it was funny and wanted to share it. I don't know.
What's also funny is I do think it's a good pun, but also in Castlevania games, most of them, you don't have a sword anyway. You're not even slashing. And yeah, Castlevania Chronicle you're playing as Simon, so presumably you're playing with just the whip, so you're not even slashing anyway.
I mean, what if Konami gives you a new Castlevania game and it's Castlevania Kart? What if they do that?
Well, so first of all, as a long-suffering Castlevania fan, I actually would kind of be down for that if they went with like a fun vibe for it. Like, if they went like Chibi style, like a Chibi Alucard, like racing out of like a coffin or something, like a coffin with wheels. I think that would actually be pretty fun. But Konami seems to, I've been kind of giving Konami credit in the past couple of years, like with the Silent Hill 2 remake and the Metal Gear Solid Delta stuff, and even their Castlevania retro collections have been excellent. So I shouldn't trash talk them too much, but I don't think they're in the business of like serving up fun stuff like that anymore. I think they're taking themselves seriously, which is fine, but I would love to see a Chibi Alucard in a kart racer game. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Castlevania Kart Double Slash. Let's get that going. Okay, well, I mean, we have like basically 2 comments each from 2 of our picks, so I guess I'll do my picks. This one comes from YouTube user at Sonic Shadow 191, who commented on the Tetris
T-Spin, I think.
Yeah, T-Spin, I guess it's called, the OC remix. 5 years ago. When I next need to hack into the Kremlin, I'll make sure to have this on full blast.
I mean, yeah, it's so funny how like the Tetris's like Russian lineage is so associated with it. I think it's cool, but at the same time, I can't think of many games like that where like everyone is just, oh, Tetris, that's Russian. I really don't, even though everyone knows like Mario and Nintendo stuff is from Japan, I don't often hear people just say, oh yeah, Mario, that's Japanese.
Right. Yeah, they don't really associate it with that. That is funny. Well, and for me, like I read this comment in Sonic's voice, so that kind of adds like, when I next need to hack into the Kremlin, I'll make sure to have this on full blast. Like I'm just hearing that the whole time, and that's pretty good.
The idea of Sonic doing hacking is also funny. I assume Tails would normally do the hacking, but no, I understand the point. Does Sonic's do his fingers type at supersonic speed? Is that a question that's answered in the movies at any point?
If Sonic really locks in, I bet he could do it. And really, I don't think Tails wants to become an enemy of the state either. So Sonic can take that burden.
I'm scared to say these words on a podcast, but hear me out, government. Am I making this up, or did Sonic Adventure 2, the plot involve Sonic being framed for like an assassination attempt? Like, doesn't Sonic and Tails, don't they meet the President of the United States at some point in Sonic Adventure 2?
That. Yeah, I
swear that's a thing, yeah.
I remember them meeting the president, but I don't remember an assassination attempt.
Doesn't Sonic Adventure 2, doesn't it start off with like they're transporting Sonic in a helicopter for some reason, and then he busts out, and that's why City Escape happens, because he's like getting away from like the gun agents or whatever they're called?
Okay, so I googled Sonic Adventure 2 assassination attempt, and the first post is from Reddit, and the title of the post is "The Crimes and Penalties of Sonic Adventure 2."
Well,
so it is a breakdown of all of the crimes that he commits in Sonic Adventure 2, and yes, he is I guess arrested by gun and taken to Prison Island when Sonic proceeded to assault several military officers and escape the helicopter he was being held on. And they then cite California penal law. And denote that this would stack twice One, when he resists on the helicopter, and second, when him, Amy, and Tails escape the police in the city. So,
what I find interesting about that, most of all, is that they are specifically citing the California Penal Code because obviously City Escape, that level is clearly modeled off of like San Francisco with all like the hills and stuff, but I don't think it's ever specified that that's the case. But this Redditor is like using logic. I appreciate it. I'm not criticizing them for this, but citing California Penal Code is very funny to me in that in this instance.
So there you go. I don't know if that answers anything, but
I don't even know who asked anymore. Like, no one wants to know about the California Penal Code in regards to Sonic Adventure 2. Anyway, next up we've got YouTube user at Sweets on the Rocks, all one word, commented on a stroll down memory lane 2 weeks ago. The vibe of this piece is so surreal and vibrant. Hits all the right feels the right way. Maybe this is the Xenoblade 3 inside me talking, but the flute section absolutely melts me. I just really, I don't know, hits all the right feels the right way, and then like the Xenoblade 3 inside me is very, there's a lot of weird energy in this comment to me that I really appreciate.
Yeah. It's a weirdly sexual comment. I feel like it's like I don't want to.
The flute section melted me.
Yeah, like I don't want to know what's going on between you and like Xenoblade 3 or whatever. Like I feel like I'm learning a little bit too much about you. It's a little bit the energy is weird, even surreal and vibrant. Like the vibe of this piece is so surreal and vibrant. This is honestly like the YouTube comment version of that body of yours is insane.
Yeah, that flute of yours absolutely melts me.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness gracious. YouTube user at Felis Imperator. Per like P-U-R-R. So I can only assume we have more furries on our hands here.
Always.
Commented on the Layton's theme rearrangement 4 years ago. Now that is as smooth as a cup of Layton's favorite tea.
Does Layton have a canonical favorite tea?
I don't know. I don't know if he like I don't know if he like references, if he does reference specific tea. I don't remember what it is.
I feel he's British, so I feel like people are just jumping to the conclusion that he has a favorite tea. Hold on, I'm gonna Google this real fast. Professor Layton's favorite tea.
Like he definitely sips tea. Like tea is definitely a thing, but I don't remember if he calls out a chamomile or an Earl Grey or something.
Yeah. The only things coming up for me are like puzzles involving like tea and tea sets and stuff. So I'm gonna just give it up right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if it drops that he has a favorite tea. I was just curious to know if he actually had one and what it was, if so.
Well, in New World of Steam, maybe we'll get that important inclusion in the lore of what his favorite tea actually is.
The New World of Steam is just a reference to him making tea. Yeah, it's just
like
a giant
steaming cup of tea. Yeah, that was the real New World of Steam all along.
Yeah. With that said, that was your YouTube comment oversharing corner for this episode. Despite how few comments we had, we went down maybe the craziest rabbit hole of all time with the California Penal Code. Take us into the voicemails, please.
All right. Yeah, we have a couple voicemails this episode, so let's get into them. The first one comes to us from Parker.
Hey, Will. Hey, Zach. Zach, check out Nevermore Academy. It's created by a upcoming independent video game developer, Ink Rose. Check out her devlogs on her YouTube channel and play the free demo on Steam. In fact, make a KoopaCast video. Make a KoopaCast video on it. And in fact, are you like into independent animation? Check out Loki IRL. It's created by a Rebel Taxi. It's been like a love letter to animation and there's different art styles throughout. Okay, bye. Hope this finds you well. Bye.
Thanks, Parker. Take it away, Will.
Will has nothing to say, as far as I'm aware.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Matt's name is not Will. Just for future reference. So yeah, I mean, I am a fan of indie animation. I wouldn't say that I'm like a diehard fan, but you know, I like Has Been Hotel. I'm a big Lackadaisy fan. Like I actually read Lackadaisy when it was like a webcomic, like back in the Tumblr days. Lackadaisy was really big, and now Lackadaisy has its own like animation thing kicking up. I'm excited about the new season of Has Been Hotel next month. You know, so like I like it. I did look at Loki IRL a little bit. I haven't actually sat and watched anything, but I do like the art style. Very cool, very unique, you know, art style. So I'm into that. It is cool to see like the kind of new wave of indie animation. If whenever Presto gets back from his years-long missions trip and eventually starts catching up on Bit Harmony episodes, he will be delighted to hear any mention of indie animation on the show. So
I want to emphasize it's not a bit. Presto is apparently gone for a couple of years.
That is not a bit. Presto said he'll see us in 2 years, dude. So he said he's on an important missions trip and he will be back in 2 years. So I don't know. Okay. Well, do we want to play this one from Spriteless then?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Spriteless.
Hello, Matt and Seth. It is I, Spriteless. I enjoy remixes. I often enjoy remixes that take a repetitive NES game soundtrack and turn it into a club remix. But also, I have a request. My request is any remix by Hayden. I'm going to text you the artist's name because I'm failing. But yeah, he does funny remixes with funny YouTube movies attached. So thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Spriteless. So Spriteless, they actually did text the number, the name of this artist, and so you know, tradition does dictate, Spriteless, that we do have to have bot harmony. Tradition dictates that bot harmony does have to read this. So really quickly, let's hear how bot harmony pronounces this.
Hayden remix.
Yeah.
So there you go.
If bot harmony is correct, then yeah, you got it.
I think you crushed it. Yeah, I think that was it.
I would also pronounce it Hyadane. It's Hyadain. Have you ever heard of Hyadane before this?
Never.
Okay.
No, this was my first exposure to Hyadane, and I was surprised and delighted by Hyadane.
It made me feel really old, even though these remixes are old. Like these are all uploaded pretty long time ago. But the fact that I didn't hear about them till now actually kind of surprises me.
Right, me too.
But yeah, I guess we'll talk about it a little after the break. So Spriteless left it up to us to decide, and then we each kind of chose one. Seth went with Heat in all caps with a few exclamation marks. That's a remix of Heatman's theme from Mega Man 2. And then I went with this FF5 Bats HD version. That is a remix of Bart's theme from Final Fantasy V.
Okay, I was going to ask. I was like, I thought it was Bart's. Okay.
I think it's a difference in like the Japanese versus the English or something.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But yeah, that is Heat and FF5 Bats HD version by Hyadane, and we will be back for the show closing stuff.
Ignite. 燃えてるぜエチエチる体あちあち全部ぜエチエチバンチューあちちちかまるぜエチエチの体あちあち服なんでございますエチエチヒートメン溢れ出る吐息もっと声を出しなせ夜はこれから顔が真っ赤からぜエチエチヒートメン夜は長いぞライト足りてるスペットライトレディナイトフライ Yes, not tonight, Little shit, we're gonna make a beat. You're so sweet, 戻れないぜ溺れちまえ熱いマグマ星なら星でベイビーはっきり言われてわかんねえな上心オーバーヒートバブぜエチエキとまんじゅうあちちちゃかまるぜエチエキの体あちあちゃ服なんでございます早くなるこの音と一緒に行こうぜもっと僕までエネルギーぶっ放せぼや憧れの太陽
And that was Heat and FF5 Bats HD. So yeah, like I said, until Spriteless sent this in, I'd never heard of Hiding before. Did you look him up at all?
Well, yeah, like I spent some time perusing the YouTube channel, and yeah, he's been active for like close to 20 years on YouTube. Like he's been around basically since YouTube has. And it is funny because this seems like exactly the sort of thing I would have been into. You know, like had I known he was around back then, I feel like I would have been into this stuff, you know, and so it was weird to me that this was my first time hearing of him. 'Cause yeah, like he has some like more serious stuff, but a lot of it is basically exactly as Spriteless described, like this kind of club mix, you know, like remixes of NES music that also has a very goofy, like over the top, almost like Japanese variety show kind of flavor to it with like silly YouTube videos attached. Yeah.
He seemed to have done most of the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. I think there were a few missing. I also saw comments asking him to finish the series still.
Right.
Like he's still missing some Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. I looked him up a bit on Wikipedia also. Like he's composed themes for like anime and stuff.
Okay.
He's also worked in like an official capacity with other video game stuff. I think he did at least the Japanese theme song for like that Pac-Man cartoon from like a decade ago.
Okay.
So he's actually like a serious composer. I think maybe he either was just doing this Hyodane stuff on the side, or this is maybe what got him noticed. And what I'm not sure about the timeline with stuff like that. But that's all to say, I never thought I would hear a horny Heatman song remix. But I guess in hindsight, I'm the idiot. I should have figured when I'm hosting and producing a video game music podcast that was inevitable.
Someday, the Heatman comes for us all. Someday. That was actually what I was like delighted by about this remix, is that, you know, it would have never occurred to me to take this approach with like representing Heatman, but it kind of makes perfect sense. Like this weird, like kind of cringy, you know, like there's a breakdown around minute 30 where he's just like curiosity, desire, and then sultry night. And it rules. Like I love that. But also like the funny thing is it's also a really like well considered composition. Like it's actually impressive. Like if you listen to Heatman's like normal theme, it must have been pretty challenging to remix this like pretty simple song. And then he also does this neat thing where at the end of the songs, he ties in a bit of like the robot master that like represents their weakness. So like there's a little Bubble Man bit at the end, which is like a cool pairing. And I don't know, it was like this weird cringy, like, you know, like sexy, horny, like Heatman song, but also there's some like impressive stuff he's doing in there. I was pretty delighted by it.
Yeah, I also like that he used the disappearing blocks sound as like an instrument. Basically, it was neat.
Sick.
Yeah, I don't have too many notes on it. You've already covered most of what I wanted to mention. I will say that it just kind of randomly turning into like a Mortal Kombat song at 140 was also kind of funny. But yeah, between Seth's picks and Hydain, like y'all were trying to kill me today, and you damn near succeeded. I think this has been a very like attack. Yeah, I feel like I've been under attack. I got called the wrong name and everything. Like everyone's just after me today.
Yeah.
I'll shout out real quick. Yeah, the FF5 Bats, the Final Fantasy V Bart's theme. I mostly just really wanted a palate cleanser after how energetic Heat was. But I love Final Fantasy V. I think it's honestly, after Final Fantasy X, it probably is my favorite Final Fantasy. I only played it for the first time like 2 years ago. I really, really like it. I also just thought it would be neat to give listeners a sample of just how different and how big of a variety Hydain is putting out. Like this song couldn't sound more different than Heat. Thank God. And yeah, when I was reading up on Wikipedia, it was saying that for all the songs he did under the Hydain name, like he did everything, even like when there's female vocals, like he did them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, like, I think he did it with like a digital voice modifier thing and stuff. And for this song, it's also I think it's using a made up language, so it gives it like a near automata feel at times.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought this was very interesting and cute.
So I'm glad you bring that up, because I have a comment that I've been desperate to read. I've been excited to read this mostly because of the username. This is a comment from YouTube user at SpongeBob Rules 5434 16 years ago on this song, the FF5 Bats HD. I saw an interview before for Hydain regarding this song. He said he used an imaginary language which points to Esperanto, or even a language he totally made up himself, more likely the first one. So thank you so much to SpongeBob Rules 5434 for the insight on that.
I would love it if like lapsed Hydain fans somehow find this episode of Bit Harmony and they just all flock to it. That would be my dream, to bring in,
that'd be sick,
to be the umbrella for the Hydain fans out there.
Yeah, the safe harbor for people just like SpongeBob Rules. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I really liked it. It's just really simple and pretty. Like it's almost entirely a cappella, you know, like really like brain tickly harmonies, and like the instrumentation that is in here is kind of like music box coded, like twinkly and pretty. I don't know, it's just pretty. Like I could not be more different from Heatman, so Yeah. Good palate cleanser. What range on this guy?
Yeah. Also, something I forgot to mention when we were talking about it being a horny Heatman song. Heatman also is a dumb design. He's just like a man with a stupid face, like in a big like Zippo lighter. Like his armor is literally like a big classic, like you flip open the Zippo lighter thing. It's very funny to then also give him this personality quirk of just being horny, I guess. With that said, that's a lot of things we just said. If you want to call in a voicemail, you can either send those to bitharmonypod@gmail.com, or you can call that in to 216-230-8540. That number again is 216-230-8540. And if I'm too stuttery for you, that number is also always in the show notes. And also, if you're calling in, you're dialing in that number, you should keep those under 3 minutes. If you are sending in an email, do whatever you want, whatever feels right.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. bitharmonypod@gmail.com. If you text us, Bot Harmony will read it. Unless it's exceedingly weird. We do reserve the right to not play whatever we don't want to play.
Yeah.
But we haven't crossed that Rubicon just yet. We'll find out. So yeah, please do that. We love your voicemails. You can join the Discord if you want to talk to us there. We always have that going on. We ping the community and let people know when episodes are coming out. So for reminders on voicemails and all that, join the Discord if you want to. Good people in there. And I guess let me go ahead and thank the patrons. As a quick reminder, all of our Summer of Nintendo minis are now available and waiting patiently for you to listen to them on patreon.com/allinmedia. 7-day free trial available there, and you can join the ranks of these fine folks getting thanked at the ends of our episodes. Which I'll do right now. Bit Harmony is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Thank you to our Triforce tier supporters, Adam Caparello, Bowza, Quagmire, Dan and Luma, Danilina Hosa, SAZ, Foolish Fuji, John Cummins, Josh Vaughn, Ligerwoods 330, and Uncle Randy. And thank you to our Golden Banana tier supporters, Big Dogs Only, Bill Tucker, Gamer Jason, Hopple, Liam D, Old Drake, Phelan Ward, Rob Yapel, Shy Guy, thank you Shy Guy, Sean Ashton, Sparky, and Stephen Keller. Like I said, links are in the show notes to Patreon. We really appreciate your support over there. And a bunch of exclusive mini episodes. If you like this show, not only can you get early access, not only can you get thanked and chiseled into the eternal rock of Bit Harmony with your support, but you can get some exclusive podcasts to boot for your support. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, thank you as always. And hey, we're going to give you some more reasons to support us on Patreon. Despite the fact that we just had like 3 months of being a weekly show, in October, we are going back to being a weekly show. We are doing...
Oh, Matt will have no rest.
Yeah, basically. Fall is my favorite time of year, and Halloween specifically. It's just fun. It's just like a fun... especially from like a video game perspective, like how many games are built around like spookiness and whatever. So for all of October, much like last year, we are doing, Halloween adjacent things. So for the next full episode of Bit Harmony on October 5th, we're doing Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. That is a favorite of Seth's in particular.
Yes.
And I think one of the best NES games. I'd say that's like a top 3 NES game for me personally.
Yeah.
Also, when we did the Kickle Cubicle mini, coupled with how much UFO 50 I was playing at the time, I was like, damn, why don't we do more episodes on 8-bit music? And this just seemed like a really good fit for that.
Yeah, no, I love this game, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk about it. I mean, really, now that we've done Symphony of the Night and now this, I'm like, okay, like I'm glad that we've hit like the 2 main like musical touchstones of Castlevania on the show for me. I'm pretty excited about this one. This game rules.
Well, not to mention the week after that, for that mini, we will be doing Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which
let's go.
For my money might be the best Castlevania soundtrack, but there's not going to be like enough meat on the bone to do a full episode on it I think. So that's why we kind of relegated it to a mini. We'll reveal the back half of October later. But yeah, for this first batch of October, we've got Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse full episode, and then Castlevania Rondo of Blood as a mini the following week. There are no haikus this week. I just didn't feel like doing a haiku.
Well, it's also like, this is a remix. This is a layup episode, you guys.
But we do have a little surprise at the end. We do have a secret bot harmony message to play here at the end.
Another bot harmony to send you guys off with. So let's hear from bot harmony.
I don't have time to record a voicemail, so here's a bot harmony message. Hi Sat. That's Seth and Matt combined. I thought it sounded better than meth. Thank you for playing my haiku, and I would be honored for you to play one of my silly video game covers on the podcast. I've sent the link to the WAV of the Tragic Prince from Castlevania Orchestra of the Evening. I mean Symphony of the Night. Keep up the amazing work. I wanted to see what bot harmony would say if I said H Suebnkmueml Fay 344. Keep up the great work.
So there you go.
Yeah, I it's funny. I didn't even realize at the time. Yeah, that's from Old Drake. If that it wasn't clear, it didn't say it in the bot harmony message. He emailed us with this message and a link to his cover of Tragic Prince from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I just thought this is like we called him out when he sent in his very lovely voicemail a few weeks ago, and we said, hey, we're doing a remix episode. If you want something of yours played on the show, send it in and we'll play it here. It just seemed perfect to end this episode with, because it's Castlevania. Like this is your bridge. It's bridging the gap between September and October and into our Castlevania coverage in a couple weeks. So this is Old Drake's rearrangement of Tragic Prince from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Thank you so much for sending that in. We really appreciate your appreciation, honestly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean for this too, and you guys will hear. I mean, this is kind of like, if you're looking for like a metal guitar cover of Castlevania music, it really is kind of perfect. Like it is exactly what you want. I also encourage y'all to check out his YouTube channel and subscribe to him over there. Not only does he have a bunch of great similar like metal guitar covers over there, they're all really high quality. He does the thing where he films himself playing them. So if you also appreciate that, check it out. I will have links to his YouTube channel in the show notes. Really great stuff. And he's also just like a really great dude. Like he's been a delight to have in the Discord, and he's been a big supporter of us, and he supports on Patreon. Just a great guy. And like, yeah, this cover rules. So thanks for letting us play it.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sending this in. Then we'll see you next time for Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. And again, this is Tragic Prince from Castlevania Symphony of the Night by Old Drake. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.